We about to get into this breaking news story on a young rapper, Tay-K, who was sentenced just hours ago. But before we do so, I would like to offer you a chance to win $100 straight up and down. I'm about to post on my Instagram in a couple hours. If you have not done so, follow my Instagram at FERRO, like 5 posts, and comment the number 100 under 5 posts, and then you'll enter the running to win $100. All right, as simple as that. Do those 3 simple things. Every time I post, actually, forget the 5 posts. Every time I post, comment the number 100. It'll help your chances. I'm gonna just randomly pick a post at the end of the week to give away $100 to some very lucky people. It should be you. All right, Mr. TALIAFERRO, how's everybody doing out there? Very unfortunate ending, essentially an ending to a young man's life. Young rapper goes by the name of Tay-K. I believe he's like only 18, 19 years of age right now. If you don't remember the record, it was about a year and a half ago where we heard Tay-K on the scene for the first time with the race record. Kind of goes like this. I'm just trying to beat the case, but I ain't beat that shit. Bitch, I did the race. He's been sentenced to 55 years for murder today. Earlier, about maybe a couple hours ago. He's been fined $10,000 as well. I think the $10,000 is the least of his issues right now, as he will sit in prison for a long time for the murder of a 21-year-old father during a home invasion robbery in Mansfield. All right. Tay-K will spend 30 years in prison for 1 count of aggravated robbery and 13 years in prison for 2 counts of aggravated robbery related to the home invasion. So we'll times that 13 by 2. So that's about 25, 26 years there, and 30 years in prison. And 30 years in prison for the first count of aggravated robbery. Again, all this is contingent on the fact that he was convicted of murder. So most of this is based off the murder. The 30 years is tied in with the fact that he was convicted of murder. Very sad ending to this young man's life. This young man was about to have a career. But I do want to let you guys know something. Tamar McIntyre is not only guilty of aggravated robbery and murder. In my mind, after I read through these documents, because that's what I've been doing for the last few minutes, reading over his case file, in my mind, Tay-K is guilty of his own arrogance. I'm going to tell y'all what I believe. In my heart of heart, I believe Tay-K would have did a lot less time for this murder if he was not a rapper. The fact that Tay-K was so confident in committing crimes, not only committing crimes, but making a song called The Race that literally speaks about how you're evading the police and you're evading house arrest as we speak. It literally speaks to the arrogance of some of you youngins out there in regards to not thinking y'all could get caught up in the system. Do you know what's police and investigators' best friend? I read these documents. That's how I know. You know what's police and investigators' best evidence in 2019 when they're solving these murders? Social media. And when we bring up social media, we mean every component of it, meaning music that comes through social media. They're literally simply logging into a computer, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube. They're listening to these verses. They're listening to this music, and you're giving yourself away. Then you're throwing your music up on Apple Music, Spotify, looking to make money off of your own admission of crimes in the music. It's in the music. They literally used Tay-K's The Race record against him in court. That literally got brought up in court. They printed out the lyrics to Tay-K's song and used it against him in court. One thing that's super prevalent in the hip-hop community is the focus on snitches, right? You know, we live by a code in hip-hop. If you snitch, stay away. What is it? Snitches get stitches? You know what I mean? I know I made that as PG as possible, but y'all know what snitching gets you. Well, what about the fact that a lot of people are self-snitching? Yo, dudes are snitching on themselves. What about that? Like, how can we get rid of you in the community if you snitch on yourself? That's what a lot of dudes are doing right now, and Tay-K is a victim of that. Another reason why Tay-K's sentence was such a large number, obviously we're dealing with murder, so it's going to be high, but the court officials felt like Tay-K was doing a lot of disrespectful stuff while he's been locked up. I think they said they had 7 inmates testify against him, speaking on his character from behind bars. They also said Tay-K had a cell phone behind bars. They was like, yo, you ain't really, we ain't felt enough empathy and sympathy from you since you've been behind bars. But that's how we get to 55 to 56 years. Unfortunately for homie, his career is over. This young man's life could very well be over. You know, the craziest thing about all this is Tay-K is still on trial for another murder of a young man. We ain't even hit the trial for that yet. That he could very well get another 55 years, because they're actually saying he was the trigger man in that murder. So the fact, this was the one that he was supposed to be able to skate on, right? This was the murder that he was supposed to be able to get away with and maybe do a couple years for robbery. This was the one that was supposed to be the lesser sentence. The other murder is the one where they're saying, yo, he was actually the trigger man. The fact that he allegedly was not the trigger man in this murder and he still ended up with 55 years, he had a terrible ass lawyer. That's really what that is. And he was a victim of his own fame and arrogance. And I believe if he wasn't a rapper, he would have had a better chance in court today. Or maybe a couple days ago when he was found guilty. I believe him being a rapper, this music, him making some money off this music, all of it to the judge is arrogance. It's just arrogance to them. And I know how them folks think. Them people, they don't like us. They don't like black people, young black people making money. Especially when you out here committing crimes with it, or allegedly committing crimes and not having enough grief and empathy. Somebody's dead in this situation. So unfortunately for Tay-K, 55 years. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, and support. And I do want to send some love to everybody involved. Obviously, the people who might have been hurt due to the hands of Tay-K and some of the homies of his. Also want to send some love to Tay-K's family. I know I probably said Tay-Keith a couple times in this. Yeah, forgive me. But Tay-K's got a family. I'm sure he's got a mom that's like, yo, you know, that's her son. You know, it's a very tragic situation. Again, they're saying Tay-K he's facing capital murder in Bexar County for the fatal shooting of a 23-year-old photographer that he allegedly robbed and shot in April of 2017. His trial is coming up for that one. But again, 55 years, I mean, he's 18, 19 now. I mean, he's already in his 70s now. On good behavior, he'll be in his 60s, 50s, late 50s. It's going to be tough. I thank you guys so much for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. They are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the Triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.